Good evening, everyone. Kalla here. Welcome to my live stream. Glad you could make it today. So it's time for more Radiant Tale. Last time, as we were working on getting a show together to perform here in this town of scholars, we came across a small fey creature who was running away from terrible experimentation and took them under our wing. In part because we were planning on using fey creatures in the performance. In attempting to assist that small fey creature in relearning how to transform, Raddy gave the game away that he can actually transform to our MC. We've also basically decided who we're pursuing this time. We're going for it. We're going for Eon. Ion? I've forgotten how to say it again. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. Hello, Drag. Hope you're doing good. Alright, shall we get on with it then? So I believe we'll get to actually do the performance this time. So, later that evening, we'd enjoyed dinner while discussing our plans for the next day, and now I was washing the dishes and doing some cleanup alone in the kitchen. Everyone else was still chatting away with the Fae about their performances. Ah, you're recovering from a cold, are you? Yeah, colds are a pain, aren't they? I'm glad you're recovering. Right. I was worried about whether it'd work out at first, but from the looks of that, it probably will. Tuning into the jovial voices as my soundtrack, I carried on quietly. Then...
Hello,
Raddy. Raddy? Weren't you just out there talking with everyone? Are you already done?
いつの間にかお前だけいなくなってたから気になって様子見に来たんだよ。ちょっと待っとけ。今誰か呼んで手伝わせるから。
With those words, Raddy moved to leave the kitchen. I hardened my resolve. Then you should help me, Raddy.
Huh?
Raddy looked at me as if I'd grown two heads, but I ignored him and pressed the issue. I'm sure you're capable, Raddy. You can. I declared that firmly and then...
わかったよ。
After thinking about it for a moment, Raddy transformed and began helping me out. Could you wipe the clean plates over there and line them up here?
これだな。
Yep, thanks in advance. I'm alright. I'm acting the same way as I always do. Though awkwardness was adrift in the air, I kept the conversation going with my best effort. If only I'd learned about your transformation earlier. I could have wrung so much work out of you at Liba just like this. Did you want to use Raddy's fluff to dry dishes? I mean, it would probably work, but also, we don't know where that fluff has been. These are clean dishes. And hello, Nick. How you doing?
お前な、スピレアにも同じこと言われたわ。そうなると思ったから隠してたんだっての。
Jeez, it's because you were so stubborn about hiding that I felt really lost, you know?
悪かったって。
But when when I talk to you like this, I can tell that, yeah, you're still ready.
なんだそりゃ。当たり前だろ。
I'll be honest, I'm still trying to get used to it. I'll probably still get flustered when you suddenly transform, at least for a while. But, well, you're you, Reddy. This forms a part of you too, so please don't hide it. I'll do my best to adapt, I promise. I still couldn't meet his eyes yet, but I told him what I thought I wanted to say. Ready? It'd be nice if you gave me a reply at least. But there was no response. Feeling a spike of anxiety, I turned to look at him. I think he's blushing. Suddenly he held my head in a firm grip and began ruffling my hair. Hey, what's this for?
そうやってすぐ物分かりのいいふりしやがって。そんな風に気を使われても嬉しくもなんともねえんだよ。毛玉の姿でいたって無理してるわけじゃねえんだ。あっちだって俺の姿なんだし。
What's the symbol on the left? You mean the bit of the I was gonna say overlay, that's the wrong word. It's just a part of the UI. It's to indicate, I think, whether we're in like normal text advancing or like auto or skip, I think. Just going to check. Not that one. Options. Autos on ZR. So just to confirm. No, it doesn't actually.
俺は今まで通りお前のそばにいるし。
It could be the indicator that we're into Thalia's point of view, maybe? Because I remember the UI changes when we're not. I don't know. No, I can't let that happen.
あ、なんで?
Ooh, a choice. I want an assistant, or because you're handsome. The first one. We're not going for Ratty here, so the first one. I want an assistant. Isn't that obvious? Having more manpower available is always better. Manual labour, helping out like this, cleaning in general, other chores? This form's much more convenient. Flustered again, I babbled that answer.
たく、そうきたかよ。
Smiling with fond exasperation, Raddy dragged out a long sigh. Okay. I managed to hide the truth, right? Does that mean that the other option was more truthful to what Tifalia was feeling? Raddy cleared his throat once.
まったく、お前頑固だもんな。
He gave me that reply with a warm smile.
わかったよ。これから必要な時はこっちの姿になるから。やれることあったら手伝うし。
Yeah, helping out with chores is the least you can do. For lying to our girl for years.
よし、じゃさっさと片付けを終わらせるか。公演日は待ってくれねえし、練習に宣伝に準備にやることはまだまだたくさんあるし、現住もたくさん協力してくれてるし、頑張んねえとな。
Yeah, you're right. We need to focus on making our first show a success.
おう、その意気だ。
Hello and thank you, kind of foxed. We spent our days until the show, like Raddy said, on practice, promotion and prep. And just like that, before we knew it, it was the day of our very first show.
みんな見たか？客席が人でいっぱいになってる。
Hey, they have an audience this time. Good for them.
なんだか緊張してきちゃった。またテンション上がったとか言って燃やすなよ。お前ならやりかねない。
I peered out at the audience from behind the curtain.
今日は学会の発表があるって言ってませんでした？
学会なんぞ月に一度はある。だがこれだけ多くの幻獣が一堂に会するなど一生に一度の機会、見逃せるわけがあるまい。
おい、測定器は準備できたか？特に魔力と属性値は3つずつだ。
Measuring instruments, huh?
はい、準備は万端です。
あれだけ大口を叩いたんだ。どれほどのものかとくと確認させてもらおう。
あまたの幻獣とその魔法を見られる機会なんてそうそうないからな。このレポートを書けば評価が上がること間違いなしだ。
Countless spectators crammed the tent. Okay, the first step, getting people to come, is a success. They likely all had different reasons for showing up, and most didn't come to enjoy the performances, but that was fine for now. Once they get to see the show, I'm sure they'll have lots of fun.
すごいよね。前回のオートでの誰も来なかった公演が嘘みたい。
ああ、まさかこんな短期間でここまで状況を変えられるとは。
You see, this is the difference between actually promoting your show and not.
ティファリアとラディのおかげだな。お前ら感動してるとこ悪いが、本番はこれからだからな。
Yeah, we're only just getting started. Let's show them the fruits of our practice. Time was ticking down. We gathered together in unspoken agreement, and Genia was the first to talk.
さーて、いよいよね。みんな、準備はいいかしら。
おう、いつでも行けるぜ。
お前らせいぜい足を引っ張るなよ。頑張ろうね。
皆の期待に応えねばな。
さあ、やってやるか。
That's right. And now,
It's
showtime!
Performance buzzer. Everyone get in your seats. The show is about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, I'm not really sure, Drag, what makes the stem of that flower longer or not. Because now it's back to being short again.
親愛なるカリダ住民の皆様方、本日は我らの公園にお越しいただき誠にありがとうございます。大人も子供も大事な研究を放り出してきた悪い研究者の方々も全員が楽しめる特別な時間をこれより我らがお届けいたします。それではどうぞごゆるりとご鑑賞ください。
Junior gave a bow, and in that instant,
Let's Mofo Party!
Mofo Mofo Party! Yes. From above the stage, beneath the stage, from the side, from behind, from below the chairs. Fae of numerous sizes and races leapt out one after another and ran toward the stage. The last Fae to make his appearance was Vilio, a centerpiece of this show.
あれがドラゴン。本物のドラゴンを見られるとは。
Vilio meandered around the stage so the audience could get a good look. Then... Oh. Look at the little cheepies. Faye nimbly leapt through the rings of fire that Vilio manifested. Her opening performance left everyone in awe. This is adorable. Next, Zephyr walked out onto stage to upbeat music, and two large spheres rolled out with him. Faye was on each ball, and in the middle, Zephyr began his juggling act. That little spherical cat is adorable. As Zephyr began to juggle more and more balls, tiny Faye jumped into the mix. Zephyr handled them all magnificently. Up next, an elegant melody began, accompanied by a chorus of singing and moving water. Pascalia directed the Fae as a conductor, and they revealed their mesmerizing voices. Every one of them was singing happily. But there was more. Bubbles made from magic appeared, adding flair to the entire venue. These bubbles, gentle enough to pop by touch, came in a variety of sizes and hues, amazing our spectators with the beautiful view. The next performance was an acrobatic show by Eon and the Fae. Yeah!
まだまだ行くよ。
もう一回。ジャンプ。
Faye went back and forth between the trapeze and the handle of Eon's weapon, merrily doing spins in midair. You wonder if I get a game where we can watch the performances like a scene from an anime. I think in general you've just got to wait for like an anime adaptation, although not a lot of games get those. I mean, some games probably could do it, but I imagine it would be a lot more budget, right? Now it was time for our final performance.
準備はいいか、ティワリア。それじゃ行くぜ。
Yeah. I took a step forward onto the dazzling stage.
さあ、最後はみんなで手拍子だ。
On the cue of Raddy's voice, all of the Fae and circus members that had performed so far assembled around the stage. They began to signal for the audience to clap. The researchers and scholars there weren't even looking at the tools they'd brought. Pens for taking notes rolled onto the floor and they all joined in with a smile. Our finale was a dance performance with the whole cast and Raddy was the star. We flew, we jumped, we swiveled. We were scattered everywhere, be it on the stage or around the audience seats, and we all danced freely with big smiles on our faces. Until just moments earlier, I was so nervous. I mean, I never thought I'd stand on the stage myself. But when we were discussing the finale, everyone encouraged me, saying that I'm the only one who can perform in sync with Raddy because I know him like the back of my hand. I was really hesitant about it, but when I'm with Raddy, I can take on the world.
さあ、もう一回だ。
And now!
ジャンプ。
The Fae around me leapt up into the air adorably and began to dance. They'd jump over my stretched arms or vault over my wand. Dazzling smiles were everywhere in that tent, no matter where you looked. And the one at the centre of it all was Raddy. Raddy, who had always been at the centre of all the smiles around me. The one who brings joy to those around him, to everyone, to me, is Raddy, my family now and always, whom I can count on no matter what, where or when. I'd been anxious that I might mess things up. I'd been scared because I didn't know whether I was capable. But before I knew it, these dark feelings had been dyed with the hues of joy, scattering to who knew where. Working so hard had been worth it. Persisting to the end had been worth it. After all, right now, there's the festival, Suji. I'm so happy. Then the claps of the beat eventually turned into thunderous applause. Surrounded by all these smiles and feelings. Yay! It bloomed. The flora. The flora bloomed brilliantly. Hey, success! One down, four to go, right?
それじゃみんな、ちゃんとグラス持ったわね。お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様。
That evening, after we'd finished cleaning up from the show, we held a wrap party at Cheers together with all the Fae that participated.
本当に咲いたね、フローラ。まだ一つ咲いただけだろ。
そういうザホラだって咲いたって知った時は嬉しそうだったろ。
今は素直に喜ぼうぜ。ほら、乾杯。
くっつくな。お前、もう酔ってるのか。
ビリオが飲んでいるのはノンアルコールのジュースだ。
Yeah, Billy is just having a good time.
俺の年だと人間のルールじゃ飲めねえらしいからいつも通りだぜ。
So Vilio is somewhere under 20 then. I think, since this is Japan-based, right? Oh no, no, it's European. Never mind. The legal drinking age was 18. Thus, those underage, Billy-O, me, and the young Faye, were drinking sparkling juice instead. So everyone else is over 18 then. With a smile on my face, I watched the team make a racket before scanning the interior. Smiles, smiles, smiles everywhere. It was like a reminder of the expressions in the audience after the finale, and I can't even describe how happy I am.
みんな聞いてたか？あの拍手の量。
ああ、まだ耳に残っている。しばらく忘れられないな。
お客さんだけじゃなくて幻獣さんたちもすごく楽しんでたよね。
As Halia's words were like a cue. All the Fae that had participated at the show shuffled over and gathered around us.
皆さん、お疲れ様でした。すごく楽しかったです。ありがとうございました。
That should be our line. Thank you all, you've helped us all so much.
私たち幻獣は個体数が少ないですし、街ではひっそりと生きているものも多かったんですが、今回の経験で自信がつきました。これからは堂々と街を歩ける気がします。
And then...
皆さん、お疲れ様でした。
Is this Filio? He's green, right? And hello, VTuber Lawson. How are you doing? An unfamiliar boy squeezed through the crowd and bowed politely to us.
今回はありがとうございました。僕、すごく感動したです。
Who might you be, if I may ask? Wait, that's not the order that those words were written down. But I think that's the order that makes more sense.
やだな、ティファリアさん。僕ですよ。ピロです。
Yay, it is Firo! Firo? Wait, what?
フィロ、そんな姿だったのか。
はい、さっき無事に人間の姿を撮れるようになりました。
Firo's not scared anymore. Yeah, I'm also curious as to whether the Fae will be horribly experimented on more or less after this.
ああ、無事戻れてよかったな。
これも皆さんのおかげです。本当にありがとうございました。
Firo beamed brightly and next to him.
あ、えへへ、クロリスが咲いちゃいました。
Oh, Firo.
本当に嬉しかったんだね。
よし、フィロもこっち来いよ。一緒に飲もうぜ。
はいです。
あ、俺も混ぜて。おすすめはリアン特製カリダ版ミックスジュースだよ。
Ooh, what is this? Leanne's Mixed Juice. Cheers is daily special. A cryptic beverage made from the city's specialty products, plus the pub's leftovers for the day. Oh dear. Customers often order it to give their friends a comeuppance due to its awful taste. There are extremely rare cases in which the drink tastes delicious because the leftovers change day to day. However, the Orien's version is most likely to contain seafood, making it strange more often than not. You'd better brace yourself before drinking it. Blended leftovers, Leanne. Gross.
お前いつからそこにいた？つうかそのジュース罰ゲーム用のクソまずいやつだろ。
And thus, Circus's first show ended as a wonderful success without any mishaps. What else are you going to do with the leftovers? I mean, I feel like some leftovers are better used for a food type leftovers, like a bubble and squeak, rather than drinking them. The idea of calling that juice is iffy. Her excitement burned strong and bright, and because of that, the rowdy merriment lasted well into the night. Oop, ready mode. Okay, and I need a ratty POV voice. The loud and lively banquet was over, and our tent area was the portrait of silence. Tifali had practically fallen asleep the moment her head hit the pillow.
サーカスのためにずっと走り回って準備してたもんな。まだ先は長いんだ。今はしっかり休めよ。
She slept soundly with the same face as usual. After watching her sleep, I left the tent quietly. I didn't think I'd get to sleep anytime soon, so I headed to the common area, thinking about having some water. There I found...
あら、いないと思ったら、呼ばいでもしてたのかしら？
なわけあるかよ。
Genia, who was enjoying wine by himself without a care in the world. I immediately turned to leave, but he patted the chair next to him without a word. I had no reason to object, so I quietly sat down.
あいつ、ここしばらくずっと気張ってたからな。ちゃんと眠れてるか、様子見に行ってたんだよ。
相変わらず過保護ね。
10年も前から面倒見てんだ。心配すんのは当たり前だろ。
ま、その辺は口出すつもりないけど。過保護もほどほどにね。
そういや、あいつの両親のことだけどよ。
亡くなられたって言ってたわね。
ああ、多分あいつのことだ。いろいろ聞きたがると思うが、ほどほどにしておいてくれるか。
あら、どうして？聞きたがってるなら教えてあげてもいいんじゃない？
両親が死んだショックで、そのあたりの記憶をなくしてるんだ。刺激して、辛い記憶を思い出させるわけにはいかね
I feel like you're being a little overprotective, Ratty.
でも本人も言ってたじゃない。もう10年も前のことだから大丈夫だって。 立ち直ってるみたいだったし、失ってる記憶を思い出したいって思うのは普通のことじゃないかしら。
今はサーカスを何とかしようってことで頭がいっぱいなはずだ。ただでさえ根を詰めて自滅しがちな性格だし。お前含め変な奴らに囲まれて余計に手一杯になってんだ。これ以上負担をかけたくねえんだよ。 頼んだぜ。
I downed my remaining water in one go. Then, in that somewhat awkward atmosphere, I left the area. And going to others.
しっかりしてるように見えて、みんな結局不器用なんだから。まったく、世話の焼ける子たちね。
Bit of junior POV. Intermission. On the continent of Ashlotia, there were 4 large cities other than the royal capital of Arthia. We'd already visited one, Kallida, the Scholar City, also known as the brain of Ashlotia. Then there was the capital of art, Oriens, the city on the water, as well as Ferris, the Jewel City, where gladiators competed ruthlessly in the arenas. Gladiator. Swordsmen who participate in duels that also serve as entertainment. Many make their living by being gladiators in Ferris. Then there was the city we were heading to next. The city of craftsmen founded by the great spirit Libera, Cultura, the labyrinth city. Libera, the great spirit of wind who does as she pleases and loves pranking people. She is shrewd and excels at coming up with schemes and strategies. We'd have to journey by carriage for a few days before we arrived. Because of the distance, we mostly camped out in our tents along the way, making a few stops in villages and hamlets for food and supplies. Tent. A magic tent used by circus. It's compact and easy to carry. Once the pieces are laid out and the small stakes are planted in the ground, the tent will automatically unfold along with its furniture. It breaks down when the stakes are removed. The same is true for both their house tent and show tent. Okay, so it does require a little bit of work. You've got to put the tent pegs in. But then it does everything else for you. Well, camped. Our mystic tools were the best available. Everything was easy to set up and tear down, each offering the utmost comfort. Which meant that the journey was so comfy, it was easy to forget we were camping at all. Cultura. I've heard so many things about it. It's an underground labyrinth and it's full of craftsmen, but what is it really like, I wonder?
ティファリア、ちょっといいだろうか。シチューの具なんだが、芋を少し減らして、代わりに傷みやすそうな葉物を増やしていいだろうか。
Less potatoes, more leafy vegetables that are likely to go off. That sounds like a good idea, Eon. Yes, of course. In that case, I'll slice off the leaves, so could you handle the peeling, Eon?
Ah.
Eon and I were in charge of cooking while Atalia and Raddy looked for water sources. Genia and Zaphara did a thorough check of our baggage and Vilio patrolled the area. We'd all settled into our unique roles by now, and I'd finally adapted to our camp life. That reminds me, we should eat the bread we bought in Kallida before it turns hard. I mean, bread goes quite nicely with stew, so... We were about to begin cooking when... Ooh. What have you sensed? Eon froze and cast a sharp gaze outside. Eon?
悪いが、一旦料理は中断だ。あなたは皆のところへ行ってくれるか？
Okay, I will. Sensing Eon's solemn aura, I headed towards the common area, where everyone was loitering around. Common area. The most spacious tent among the residential tents used by circus. Shortly thereafter, Eon appeared with a hefty spear in his hand.
やけに物々しい雰囲気だが、近くに獣でも出たか？
ううん。動物さんの気配じゃない。すごく嫌な感じがす
Did
る。
we get to see one of those demon things that we were told about?
ビリオはまだ戻ってきていないのだろうか？
Looks like it. I hope he's okay.
仮にもドラゴンですもの。ビリオなら大丈夫よ。
Billy, you can take care of himself.
ティファリア、俺の後ろに隠れてろ。
Ready shield.
来たな。
Immediately after Eon spoke, an eerie shadow skulked out from behind a tree in a nearby grove. Oh, that's creepy. It's very creepy. What is that? It was an inky humanoid shadow, and the place where its face should be was flickering. As the thing crept closer and closer with an uncanny gait, my heart rose in my throat.
そうか。あなたは初めて見るのか。あれは負の感情が具現化したもの。陽と光を厭い、正の感情を持つ人間に寄生しようと襲ってくる。
If they materialize from negative emotions, that basically makes it the opposite of the flowers that bloom from joy, right?
魔物と呼ばれる存在だ。
Fiends, that was the name. That's a fiend.
僕も初めて見たよ。不気味だね。こう見てるだけで胸の奥がざわざわしてくるっていうか。
絶対に近づくなよ。あいつらは負の感情の塊だからな。近づくだけで精神に悪影響が出る。特に直接触れたりしたら、その影響をもろに浴びちまうからな。
Oof. Sounds bad. Then, what are we supposed to do?
問題ない。自分はこういう時のために同行している。
Eon moved ahead, and simultaneously, the fiend that had been inching slowly towards us abruptly lunged in our direction. Eon, however,
遅い。
dashed forward decisively and thrust his spear right into the fiend's face, piercing directly through it. It does look like there's a core in there, right? Yay, it is a core. Fiend core. A stone inside a fiend's body. Fiends don't have physical forms, so they can only be destroyed if their core is destroyed while the attacker is in possession of a Chloris amulet. So not only are they basically the opposite of the Chloris, you do actually need to have Chloris on you to get rid of them. Didn't Reddy say that approaching it was harmful? He's touching it, will he be okay?
心配いらないわ。クロリスの護符を持ってるから。
Chloris amulet. The standard gear of the public security forces, made from Chloris. Having a Chloris amulet in your possession will grant you resistance against the ill effects of fiends, and your physical attacks will work on the incorporeal fiends as well. Chloris amulet?
治安維持隊の標準装備だ。魔物の影響を食い止め、実体を持たない魔物にも物理攻撃が通るようになる。
これがあるから治安維持隊は魔物討伐の仕事ができてるのよ。
Oops, I accidentally went past that. No, my glossary. Can I? Yes. Rewind. No.
これがあるから治安維持隊は魔物討伐の仕事ができてるのよ。
Fiend subjugation, a regular operation by the public security forces. They bring Chloris flowers as protective amulets and head to an outbreak area to exterminate fiends. I see.
他に気配はないな。
Ah, just the one then.
お疲れ様イオン。やっぱり連れてきて正解だったわ。
But weren't fiends supposed to be scarce along the main roads? Why did one...
それね。実は前に話したクロリスの開花率と関係してるの。
Ah, so is there less Chloris blooming and also more fiends?
そっか。魔物に効くクロリスが減るってことは、
相対的に魔物が増える。そういうことか。
そういうこと。でも安心してちょうだい。増えてるって言っても都市に入ってくることはないし、都市の外でも街道沿いなら現れても今くらいのものよ。
Does that mean that's a low level one, Junior?
イーオンがいれば問題なく撃退できるから危険はないわ。
それならいいけどよ。
I'd heard stories about them, but I never thought that I'd actually come across one. If I had been alone, I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. From the very bottom of my heart, I thanked the heavens for Eon's company. Then I heard a cheery voice in the distance. Very misplaced, given the circumstances.
Oi!
Ah, Velio. He's back.
あ？みんな揃って何やってんだ？まさかもう飯食っちまったのか？
Ah, Velio. Phew, I'm so glad you're safe.
こっちは魔物が現れて大変だったんだよ。
魔物が出たのか？マジで？
そんな嘘をついて誰が得する？肝心な時にいないとは役に立たないドラゴンだ。
まあ、一体だけだったからな。自分だけでも対処はたやすかった。
Yeah, Velio, you missed the fight. What's that, Drag? You think that we might get a bad ending on a fiend or something? Seems likely. Velio? I'm not sure if I said that line. He frowned as he seemed to mull something over. I was a little concerned, but...
まあ、なんともなかったんだし、もういいんじゃないかしら。今後の道中も十分気をつけましょう。それより夕食よ。私もとっても空腹なんだけど。
Oh, we were in the middle of cooking. I'll finish up right away, so please hold on. It's a good thing they hadn't put heat under anything yet and they were still in prep stage, otherwise it probably burnt something.
ちょっとラディ、それ私のワインなんだけど。
いいじゃねえか、ちっとぐらい。お貴族様の酒とかめったに飲めねえし。
まだたくさんあるから遠慮なく食べてくれ。
あ、ビリオ、食べ足りないなら僕の分も食べていいよ。
お？いや、別にいいや。むしろパッサリはちゃんと食えって。食わねえと大きくならねえぞ。
お前が腹8分目とか珍しいな。拾い食いでもして腹壊したのか？
Zurion's fiend extermination. We'd had a late dinner. Then, after some rest.
さて、お腹も満たされたし、あーちゃんが怒り狂う前に城へ報告しましょうか。
We were surrounding the relay chalice that we'd received in Kalla to report back to Alest. Ooh, we get to see how this works. Relay chalice. A mystic tool that allows communication between two distant locations. When water is poured into the chalice, the image of the person on the other end shimmers into view, and their voice can be heard as well. A very precious item that's two of a kind. The castle has lent one to Circus for their regular reports. So it's sort of a two-way scrying glass situation.
それでこれどうやって使うの？
見てればわかるわ。
Ooh, it's glowing. Eugenia poured some water into the chalice and the contents began shining.
よくやってくれた、ジーニア。そしてサーカスの諸君。
Alest's ecstatic face shimmered into view and filled the water's surface.
すげえ、アレストがいる。
おい、むやみに触るな。通信杯は材料が貴重で、そう簡単に見られるものですらないんだぞ。
Amazing! Is that the castle? I can't believe it's possible to talk face to face with someone so far away.
はあ、こんな感じで使うのか、これ。マジですげえな。
あーちゃん、まずは落ち着いて。サクッと報告終えちゃいたいんだけど。
ああ、本当に想像以上の成果を出してくれた。君たちの咲かせたフローラが届いてすぐ蜜を抽出して王子に差し上げたところ。
Ah, so we're sending the flora back with someone after we get each one there, huh?
これまで何をしようと全く動かなかった瞳が動き。
It's working.
なんと王子の腹の虫が鳴ったのだ。
Alright, Alex.
それってすごいことなのか？腹がグーって鳴っただけだろ？
我々にとっては当たり前の現象だが、王子はこれまでそんな生理的な反応すら示されなかったのだ。それが空腹を訴えたということは。
僕たちが咲かせたフローラで王子様が生きようとしてくれたってことだよね。
Our show hadn't been futile. Though it was only the first step, we were making definite progress. Alest, inside the screen of the water, seemed so moved that he couldn't even begin one of his rambles about the prince. His voice trembled from joy as he teared up. Seeing Alest's elation, I clenched my hands into fists without realizing, relishing the moment. A little while later, Alest regained his composure and coughed, guiding the topic back on track.
さて、 次の目的地は迷宮都市クルトラだったな。
Famed as the city of craftsmen, yes? I've always known the handicrafts and tools from Cultura to be high quality, so I often choose their products.
地下に不思議な迷宮があるって本で読んだよ。あと、風の精霊さんがたくさんいる都市なんだよね。
It's interesting that it's an underground labyrinth, but it's inhabited by wind spirits and not earth spirits. And the city that we went to earlier that was made by the great earth spirits it involved a really tall tower. Those feel like they're the wrong way around.
クルトラは風の大精霊リベラが築いた都市だからだろうな。
クルトラはザフラの出身地でもあるわよね。そっか。ならわからないことがあったらザフラに聞くからな。
I don't think Zafra wants you asking him all the questions, Filio.
頼りにしてるぜ。
Zafra? Knowing him, I'd expect a retort like, "Shut up, lizard," or "I don't know you" answers. But for some reason, Zafra maintained his silence as he looked away, deliberately staying out of the conversation.
早速クルトラで起こっている問題についてだが。
Yes. What are the issues in Cultura?
カリダとは違い、実害のある明確な事件が起きている。
Ooh.
おそらくそれがフロリス開花率低下の原因だと思われる。
So it's more dangerous there rather than people being way too focused on their work. Incidents?
それまで穏やかだった人間が突然理性を失って犯罪に手を
Oh
染め、
dear.
狂人事件と呼ばれているものだ。
Lunatic riots. A series of incidents where normal people suddenly lose all reason and commit crimes. There are many cases in Cultura, greatly ranging in severity. Some commit robbery, while others escalate to assault. Given time, the perpetrators regain their rational minds and obediently admit to their crimes. Good!
なんだか物騒な名前の事件だね。
小さな盗みから人を傷つけるレベルまで、その内容は様々だが、皆捕まった後は正気に戻り、一様に突然我慢ができなくなった、申し訳なかったとすぐに罪を認める。
そんな事件があるせいか、住民は最低限の用事以外ほとんど外出しなくなったそうよ。
なるほど。常に怯えている状態ではクロリスが咲くはずもない。
だけどよ、俺らは国公認の集団とはいえただの一般人でしかないんだぜ。国が解決できてねえ事件を俺らが解決するのは無理があるんじゃないか。
それは重々承知している。君たちには事件を解決してもらいたいわけではない。君たちにお願いしているのはあくまでフローラの開花だ。
So you don't actually want us to fix what's wrong, huh?
つまり怯えてる住人を楽しませればいいってことだな。
ああ、極めて難しい任務になるだろうが、どうか頼んだぞ、諸君。
How do you convince people who are scared to exist outside of their homes to go and watch a circus act? With those words, the transmission ended. The light of the chalice dimmed and it returned to being a mere vessel of water.
狂人事件か。
怯えてる住人を楽しませるねえ。
出歩くのも怖くてお家に引きこもってるくらいなんでしょ。
正直カリダとはわけが違うわ。
as one could deduce from this exchange. It seemed that our next performance was going to be an uphill battle. We managed to pull it off the first time, but repeating the same show might not land us nearly as much success there.
みんな暗い顔すんなって。確かにカリダより成功は難しいかもしれねえけどさ。でも俺たちが笑顔でいなきゃ誰も笑顔になんかできないだろ。カリダでやったショーで俺はそう思った。これは間違ってないだろ。
Vilio's words were like a key, and my memories of being on stage in Kallida rushed forward. Smiles and claps everywhere, and in the middle of it all was a blooming flora. Everyone seemed to share the same opinion.
ビリオの言う通りだな。新規成果をしてたって仕方ね。
Yeah, I agree. We have quite a ways before we arrive in Cultura anyway. So let's all decide our battle plan together between now and then.
うん。僕にできることがあれば言ってね。
ああ。我々が事件を解決しなければならないわけではないしな。
一回成功してるんですもの。きっと次も大丈夫よ。
The team seemed to all have regained their vigor, and it was as lively as always. But Zephyra? In the end, Zephyra hadn't even once offered his opinion on the topic of Cultura. And unfortunately, the opportunity to ask why never came around. A few days later, our carriage arrived at Cultura, which was located in the westmost corner of Ishlatia. Chapter 2. Still within the commonwealth.
風の大精霊リベラが築いた職人の町迷宮都市クルトラ。ここは王都以外の五大都市で唯一世襲制の統治者が治める町だ。このクルトラ最大の特徴は町の地下に広がる大迷宮。
How is work done if people are too scared to go outside? I have no idea. Also, is this... This isn't even like a regular labyrinth. This is an Escher painting.
都市名の由来にもなったこの迷宮は風の大精霊がかけた魔法の影響で極めて複雑な作りになっている。これ以上のことを知りたければあとは自分の目と足で確かめるんだな。
I particularly like that one door that's just not connected to anything. And therefore, if you came out of it in a hurry, you would take quite a fall down those stairs. We travelled for nearly a week from Kallida. Finally, we were here in Cultura, and a gentle breeze caressed our cheeks as if in greeting. That's the great spirit of wind for you. The breeze here feels so comfortable. Who's running around in a labyrinth? That is a good point. Good point, well made. And are those herbs that I smell? The wind carries these scents around the whole city?
クルトラは香辛料が有名だしな。 その影響じゃねえか？
風の精霊さんの数も多いね。街のそこかしこで飛び回ってる気配が伝わってくるよ。
だが肝心の人の姿の方はほとんど見当たらないな。
We stood on the main street, the pride and joy of Kultura. Rows of handicraft and ornament shops lined the way, boasting their wares. At least that's what one would expect. But it was like a ghost town right now. I mean, we did hear that everyone was hiding away because of the lunatic riots, but to think it was this bad. I guess that answers your question of how is work done if people are too afraid to go outside. The answer seems to be it isn't. We gazed at the desolate city. Then Zafira at the rear of our line broke the silence.
ジーニア、テントの設営地に変更はないな。
ええ、昨日説明した通り、町の南西にある広場の近くよ。
なら、俺は後で合流するから、お前たちは先に行け。
Very intrigued as to what he is up to. Huh? You're going off alone? Where to?
少し調べたいことがあるだけだ。お前らと一緒だと悪目立ちするからな。
Zafira motioned to leave after he finished talking, and when I tried to call out to him, a man dashed out of the shadows and rammed hard into my shoulder. He then ran down some steps onto a side street and left without reacting in any way.
大丈夫かティファリア？怪我してねえか？
Did we just get pickpocketed? Not at all, I'm fine. Just a little surprised, that's all. With a wry smile, I dusted off the sand and stood up. But then... For some reason, Zafira clicked his tongue lightly and broke into a run to chase the man.
おい、ザフラ、どこに行くんだよ。
ずいぶん険しい顔をしていたな。追った方が良さそうだ。
We decided to follow Ion's advice and descended the stairs after Zafira. Then, the area we stepped into was so peculiar that it made my head spin. What is this? This place is amazing! That door is upside down!
道もずれてるのに繋がってんぞ。一体どうなってんだ？
ひょっとしてこれが噂のクルトラの地下迷宮？
Labyrinth. The labyrinth Libera constructed in the underground area of Kultura. Powerful wind magic warps the space inside, making everything a mess, from direction to the very concept of distance. Paths and locations of doors are in a state of constant flux. The only person who can control the labyrinth at will is the wielder of the labyrinth necklace.
だな。この迷宮はいたずら好きな風の大精霊リベラが作ったそうだ。風の魔力で空間がねじ曲げられて、迷宮の形もかげろうのようにゆらゆらと揺れ動くらしいぜ。
ええ、歩くうちに天地が逆転したり、同じ道が別の場所につながったりは日常茶飯事って聞くわね。それにこの地下迷宮で作られた道具はなかなか手に入らない珍しいものとか、すごく便利なものが多いのよ。
I was going to say, why would people want to spend time down here? But I guess if tools that are crafted down here are real good, I guess that's why.
この場所でしか作れない主要商品だし、まさにここは住民にとって生活に必須の場所ってところね。
Huh? But surely the ceiling can't...
おーい、ザフォラー、どこ行った？
Upside down Billio.
あれ？なんでみんな壁に立ってるの？
Ooh. It's not just upside down. Could be a very useful way of getting away from a crime. Like you say, if the chasers don't know the labyrinth, but I mean, it sounds like the labyrinth changes all the time anyway.
まさに噂にたがわぬ迷宮か。この様子ではザフォラを探すのもかなり骨が折れそうだな。
But the instant Dion let out a sigh.
ってあれザフォラじゃねえか
By sheer coincidence, we saw Zafra in the middle of our exploration. Zafra! Phew! I'm so glad we managed to catch up.
騒がしいと思ったらお前らか。後で合流すると言ったはずだが、お前らの耳はただの飾りみたいだな。
You did say that, yes, but we've only just arrived, so I thought it might be better if we moved around as a group.
全員で動くなんて非効率だろ。今の男も俺に任せとけばいい。
About that, why were you even chasing him in the first place? A quick scan of the surroundings told me that the man wasn't even around anymore. How did Zafra plan on catching up to him inside such a place? Just when I tilted my head in wonder, he removed a small bag from an inner pocket.
匂い袋かなんだか不思議な香りがするな。
それどう使うの？
Zafra didn't offer any explanations. He just lifted the bag above his head.
風の精霊よ、力を貸してくれ。
Oh, is he gonna get the wind spirits to make him a scent trail? Oh! Zafra's voice rang out, the air around him stirred. Is this magic? But Zafra isn't a spirit contractor, right?
精霊さんは別に契約しなくても、対価さえあれば簡単なお願いは聞いてくれるんだよ。
Spirit requests. As long as humans are willing to offer compensation, spirits help humans by performing simple spells. This connection isn't as strong as a contract, so the results of requests are much weaker than the magic of contractors. The human needs to give offerings that appeal to the spirits they are asking.
契約者ほどの力は出せないけど、コップに水を満たすぐらいは簡単。
Huh. Thanks for telling me. Zephyr ignored our conversation and continued his request.
先ほどこの道を通った男のもとへ導いてくれ。男が持っているサシはラベンダーがメイン。少量だがローズマリーの香りもした。
Sachet. Small cloth bags filled with aromatic herbs. In Cultura, one is allocated to each citizen as proof of their residency. Inside of them are dried myricus flowers. The citizens can fill them with their favourite herbs and enjoy coming up with different combinations of scents. Ah, so everyone has their own, personal smell. I'm guessing it is for this sort of purpose, for finding people who are in the labyrinth. Winds began bellowing around Zafra before flowing in one direction like a guide.
この風の方向に進めば男のところに行けるってことか？すごいなザフォラ。
Villiers praised Zafra like an innocuous child, but he paid him no heed before leaving with the wind. We were hot on Zafra's heels as we went deeper into the labyrinth.
動くな。
Oh wait. Apparently this guy has no voice. At the end of our search, we found the man that had bumped into me earlier. The instant he saw us, he turned to flee, but it didn't end well for him.
動くなって言っただろ。
Zafra closed the distance, forced the man to put his arms behind his back, and clamped down on him, holding him in place. He does have a voice. Zafra, he only bumped into me. There's no need to go so far.
まだ気づいてないのか。こいつはスリだ。
I was right. I was right. We did get pickpocketed. Huh? Zafra rummaged through the man's pockets. Not a moment later, he held up a hand mirror, the one I'd kept in my bag. That's mine!
取られたのが金じゃなくてよかったな。
返せ！そいつは俺のもんだ！
俺のもん？
何言ってんだよお前。この手鏡はティファリアのだっての。子供の頃にスピレアから。
関係ねえ！俺が取ったんだ。だったらもう俺のものだ。よこせ。俺のだよこせ！
With bulging eyes, the man frantically tried to snatch away my hand mirror. There was madness to his hysteria, and I took a step back warily.
おい、あまり近づくな。その手鏡、こいつの目から隠せ。
Okay. Zafra, thank you for getting this back.
礼を言われる筋合いはない。お前のために捕まえたわけじゃない。
Zafra's tongue was as sharp as always. Then he shifted his gaze to look at Eon.
それより、いいよ。こいつを治安維持隊のところに連れて行け。
それは構わないが、この男を捕まえたのはザファラの功績ではないのか。
元治安維持隊のお前の方が話を通しやすいだろう。俺は別件をこなしたいからな。そっちはお前たちだけで。
あら、いいじゃないの。ザフォラも一緒に来れば。あなたは後ろで控えてていいから。知りたいでしょ、事件の経緯。
Genia smiled meaningfully. Zafra shot a glare at him before letting out a long sigh. We left the labyrinth and proceeded to hand the man over to the security forces.
ご協力ありがとうございます。
おいお前、名前は？ここがどこかわかるか？
わからない。ここはどこだ？あんたは？
The officer clicked his tongue in displeasure as he questioned the pickpocket.
やはりこいつもか。自分が何をしたか答えられるか？
ああ、思い出してきた。確かこの娘のカバンから。すまない。最近生活が苦しくなっていて、人を妬むことが増えてたんだが。でも人のものを奪う気なんてなかったんだ。だけどなぜか突然。
Though I couldn't outright forgive him, I could tell that he was truly regretting it. He'd fought when we'd seized him, but now he was completely docile. It didn't feel like resignation, more as if he'd just been released from whatever had possessed him. He was like a different person. I stared, taken aback. Wait, is this?
それまで穏やかだった人間が突然理性を失って犯罪に手を染める狂人事件と呼ばれているものだ。小さな盗みから人を傷つけるレベルまでその内容は様々だが、皆捕まった後は正気に戻り、一様に突然我慢ができなくなった、申し訳なかったとすぐに罪を認める。
Is this one of the incidents Celeste mentioned? In that case, did Zafra seize the criminal to investigate the lunatic riots? I snuck a glance at Zafra. standing at the very back of the group, and his head was hung low, almost as if he was trying to face the ground. He remained silent. So, this was a lunatic riot.
ご存知でしたか？
ああ、まさか町に来た途端に遭遇するなんて思ってもなかったかな。
自分も最近配属されたばかりで詳しくはないのですが、事件は3年前から始まったそうで、最近は件数も増えています。
3 years ago, huh?
住民も迷宮森様の指示に従って外出は最低限に自粛していますが、事件が収まる気配はありません。皆様もどうか滞在中はお気をつけください。
With those words, the security forces took the perpetrator and left the area.
なあ、迷宮森ってなんだ？
迷宮森っていうのはこの都市の統治者にあたる人ね。当代はバルトって男性よ。
The Labyrinth Sentinel. The ruler of Kultura, the Labyrinth City. Unlike other cities where rulers are officials selected by the royal capital, Kultura is governed by successors in a family line. As different as this system may be, Kultura is still in alignment with the country's laws and ideals.
そういや、クルトラは他の町と統治システムが違うんだったな。
そうね。他の都市を治めるのは王都から派遣された役人だけど、このクルトラは迷宮森が世襲で代々町を治めてるのよ。
This has to be to do with this labyrinth necklace that one of the other glossary pages indicated, right?
じゃあその人が住民のことを考えて自粛令を出してるんだね。
Lockdown. As a means to protect his citizens from the lunatic riots, the Sentinel Balto released an official notice to refrain from going outside unless necessary. Okay, if the entire city is officially on lockdown, isn't that going to really cause us problems getting an audience?
バルトだったか。住民が素直に従うということは慕われる人物なのだろうな。
でもずっと家に閉じこもるなんて俺なら絶対我慢できねえな。誰とも会わず話さずに過ごすとかすごく辛くねえか？
そりゃ辛いだろう。クルトラは調和の都市って呼ばれるくらい住民のつながりが強い町らしいしな。
Does the internet exist? That's a question. I'm gonna go with no. But I could be wrong. The City of Harmony? Seems like an odd name considering they're known for their labyrinth. Wouldn't that keep people apart?
いや、だからこそらしいぜ。迷宮は確かに慣れてないやつならずっと目的地にたどり着けねえが、住民にとっては生活の場だ。各自の家にあるドアから迷宮に入れば、町の反対側にある恋人の家まで30秒。それこそ毎日通いちまう。
You can use the labyrinth doors as a shortcut.
なるほど。だから住民同士の結びつきが強くて調和の都市になったってことか。
そういうこった。言っちまえば町全部がお隣さんみたいなもんだしな。
だとしたら今の状況は町の人たちにとっては相当辛いよね。かな。
ああ、これではクロリスが咲かなくなるのもうなずけるな。
Yeah, there'd definitely be a lack of joy. We looked around the deserted streets, feeling heavy-hearted about how barren everything was. With that weighing on our minds, we headed for the tent site. The setup was a piece of cake for us by then. We rapidly established our base of operations and assembled in the common area to decide our plan of action. You know, I have a question. Is this lunatic riot thing only going to happen to people who generally live here, or would it affect visitors as well? I guess if you knew that, you could kind of help you figure out what was causing it, right? No, the guy who robbed us was affected by it. None of us have been. Like, I guess we were affected by his actions, but what I mean is affected by whatever is causing it. We rapidly established our base of operations and assembled in the common area to decide our plan of action.
さてこれからについてだけど、カリダに続いてまたまた厄介な町ね。
I think all of the cities are going to be troublesome, Junior.
でも街の様子は以前に聞いていた通りだったね。
ああ、事件に怯えて住民が皆引きこもっているということは。
このままじゃショーの内容以前に宣伝する意味もねえってことだよな。
Yeah, I think we should start by trying to learn more about the people here. Unless we talk to them, we won't even be able to come up with any ideas.
じゃあまた各自で情報収集か。
Yes, split up and talk to the people again. Let's go. I was about to nod in agreement with Billio's suggestion when...
ああ、待って待って。その前に一つ言っておくわ。
An announcement? Junior raised his hand and waved it around flippantly before he made his statement.
さっき話に出た迷宮森のバルトと明日の昼に面会する予定が入ってるから忘れないでね。
Yes, we need to talk to the boss of the city. Probably to figure out where we're going to do things and stuff, right?
面会だと。
町の長に挨拶するのは基本でしょ。本当は今日会う予定だったんだけど忙しいらしくてね。
That's a good idea. We may be able to gain good insight from the governor.
だが、明日の予定なのだろう。ならば今日はそのまま町の情報収集でいいのではないか。
だね。でもさっきのこともあるし、ティファリアが一人になるのは危ないんじゃないかな。
Yeah, we've got to decide who we're hanging out with, right?
そうだな。男どもはいいとして、お前は誰かと一緒に行動しとけ。
Okay, I'll pair up with somebody then.
もしはぐれたりして困ったら、チアーズに行けばいい。リアンに助けを求めろ。
Wait, is Leanne in this city too? Has he been following us? Huh? I mean, I know there's probably a Cheers here too, but shouldn't Leanne be in Arthia?
ああ、そこは裏技ってやつでな。リアンは世界中のチアーズ店内を自由に行き来できるんだよ。
He can teleport! Not only is he a wolf, he can teleport. He's probably got like a door in the back of Cheers that can like connect to all of the other Cheers. Why can't we use it? That's a very good question. Like, excuse me, Leanne. We're having to travel for like a week at a time to get between places. So it's probably not a door, it's probably an inherent ability then. Huh? How?
幻獣ネットワークってやつだ。深くは聞くな。
Special Fey Network. Okay. He was likely implying that it worked in a way beyond human comprehension, but I can't believe Leon can go around the world whenever he wants. I'm a little jealous. While such thoughts ran through my mind, Zephyra spoke up and steered us back on track.
俺は単独で地下迷宮を当たる。俺なら迷わないし、適任だろ。
Zephyra is going to the labyrinth.
確かに他の者が言っても迷ってしまうだけだからな。
Are you really fine going there alone?
足手まといがいない分だけ、むしろ楽なぐらいだな。
Wow, he didn't hold back at all.
よし、じゃあ俺はちょっとここで用事を済ませてから出ることにする。
僕は広場の方に行こうかな。あっちなら人がいるかも。
俺はもう一回表通りに出てみるぜ。空いてる店もあるだろうし。
ならば自分は裏通りをメインに回ろうと思う。
Side streets and alleys, it is then.
それじゃ各自開始さん、また夜に集合ね。
Time to send us to the map. Map time. Okay. It's an interesting shape. It's round but long. You can see cheers there. Yeah, more of an oval city, exactly. And I'm guessing that up just above this one, that's probably where the leader of the city lives. Oh, I'm guessing that it's uphill as well. I'm guessing that the more green the map is, the higher elevation it is. So I guess it's sort of built on the side of a mountain, with the governor's place at the top. Anyway, before I go with Eon, I am gonna go and refill the water, so I will be right back. Ned back. Let's go to the alleyway that Ian is investigating. I decided that I'd like to look around places I hadn't gotten to see earlier, so I caught up to Ian, who was headed toward the side streets. I was afraid he might turn me down, but... Does his saying yes mean he's starting to trust me a little? Can I assume that? Mulling that over, I snuck a glance at Ian walking next to me.
しかし、本当に人がいないな。人が生活をしている気配はあるのに、肝心の人の姿が見当たらない。
Yes, he's willing to hang out with us now. We're winning. Hearing his comment, I scanned the area. The kiln seemed to have been used recently, and smoke was rising out of some buildings. Yeah. At this rate, even if we want to gather info, it's going to be Then, out of nowhere... A nearby door slammed open and a young boy crashed into me. He was clearly not expecting someone to be on the other side of that door.
怪我はないか?
And of course, it is a child, and therefore, Ian is terrifying. Startled, the child inched backward. I crouched down to meet his eyes and smiled. Don't worry, we're not scary people. You seem to be in a big rush. Did something happen?
なんだよ。あんたたちには関係ないだろ。
His wary eyes seemed to say, I can't trust strangers. I frowned, a little troubled. He was like a cat with its fur standing on end, and I tried to sound as gentle as I could. Do you live here? Are you a little craftsman apprentice, perhaps?
なんでそれは
Context clues, dear boy. Context clues. Look, there are calluses on your hands, and I spy some soot on you too. You probably tinker away on crafts every day. You were in a hurry because something came up, right? If you can't handle it alone, how about we lend you an ear?
その表情を見れば、かなりの大事だと推測できる。話してみてくれ。
The boy hesitated for a moment, but then, perhaps so desperate that he had to grasp at straws, he began to explain himself in a shaky voice.
実は
He was an apprentice blacksmith in Cultura. Today he'd been planning on purchasing daily necessities with his sister while using the labyrinth as his means of transport. In the middle of the journey, however, his sister had lost something precious. A fiend then attacked them, and as he ran away in a panic, they'd gotten separated.
魔物だと?
Inside the labyrinth? That's not good. But fiends don't come into cities, right? Why would there be one inside the labyrinth?
僕も会うのは初めてだよ。でも魔物を見たって人はたまに。
Well, maybe that's part of the reason for the lunatic riots. I see. So that's why you were so rushed.
しかし、クルトラの住民なら地下迷宮で迷わないと聞いている。妹も自力で逃げ切っている可能性もあるのではないか。
無理だよ。肝心のサシェを落としちゃったんだから。
Sachet? Didn't Zafra mention something like that before?
ともあれ、状況は理解した。妹が危険ということだな。
So the sachet is kind of vital for traversing the labyrinth then. Hyun glanced at me, seeming to be asking for my opinion. I mean, I'm pretty sure the answer would be we must go. Let's just quickly do. Quick save, just in case I get it wrong. We must go. Where did you last see her? Are you okay with helping them, Eon?
自分はあなたの決断に従おう。
There we go.
どの道、魔物など放っておけない。
Got our affection point. Yeah, the boy has his sachet, we assume.
助けてくれるの。でも
狂人事件のせいでよそ者を信じられないのは理解している。だが今まさに妹が危険なのだろう。信じずに妹が傷ついて後悔するより、今信じて自分が裏切られた方がよほどマシなはずだ。
Don't worry, we'll help you and we'll look for your sister together. If you know the way, could you be our guide?
わかった。
The boy took out a small cloth bag and whispered something, just like Zafra had done earlier. And then a wind stirred and blew toward the labyrinth, as if it was showing us the way. So basically, the sachets allow the people of this city to just ask the wind spirits for help to get through the labyrinth to where they want to go. Then.
こっち、ついてきて。
The monotonous words. The monotonous scenery of the labyrinth flowed past us in a blur. At the end of our journey, we found a lone girl in an eerie shade poised to pounce on her.
見つけた！
お兄ちゃん！Eon, is that...
間違いない。魔物だ。
Crystallized malice born from negativity, just like the one we'd encountered on our journey here. Clearly hostile, it edged closer and closer to us.
ティファリア、その兄弟を頼めるか？
Okay, got it. Please be careful, Eon.
問題ない。慣れたものだ。
待ってよ、兄ちゃん。武器もないのに。怖いよ。
Don't worry, that guy over there is a member of the security forces. He'll knock that fiend down quick, just you wait. I stood in front of the siblings, who were shaking as they clung to each other, and I glared defiantly at the fiend. The shadow then lunged in our direction with terrifying fervour. I got kicked in the face. I like that CG. Very nice. Action CG. And before I had time to blink, Eon's leg thrust out from the side and sent the fiend flying into the wall with a bang.
以前魔物と戦った時にも説明したが、魔物は通常実体を持たないため、有効な打撃を与えるにはクロリスの護符を所持している必要がある。その上で
Eon made a smooth turn, and this time he aimed a powerful and swift kick at the face of the fiend.
明滅している魔物のコア。ここを破壊しなければ倒せない。
With those words, the shadow melted and dissipated into the air, leaving no trace of its existence.
すっげー！兄ちゃん強いんだな！
別にそれほどでもない。怪我はないか？
Apparently, Eon's scary face can be nullified by seeing him act cool. We're all unharmed thanks to you. I should be the one asking that. Are you all right?
ああ、 問題はない。それよりも街中に魔物がいた件についてだが。
おい、そこのあんたたち、うちの商品になんてことしてくれるんだ。
Merchandise? Who's that? A man with a bountiful physique rushed over to us. Who might you be? And merchandise? Are you talking about the fiend just now?
そうに決まってるだろう。くそ、消滅してる。捕らえるのに苦労したっていうのに。
Okay, so it probably didn't appear in the city then. Good, good. It was brought in. But
やはり魔物商人。
I was about to say, but what are you intending on doing with that? A fiend dealer. Someone who captures fiends to sell them. While it is illegal to buy fiends for any uses outside of research, people do it anyway. Why though? What possible purpose aside from research? Dealer of fiends?
その名の通り、魔物を捕らえては売り払うのを商売にしている輩だ。
Who would buy fiends? Is capturing them even possible?
彼らは治安維持隊の呉服を違法に入手して魔物を捕らえている。決闘都市フェルスの闘技場で剣闘士の対戦相手として使うため。
Oh yeah, I could see you using them in Ferris, but that was about the only other option for what you would do with one that I could think of.
なんだ、詳しいじゃないか兄さん。さてはフェルスの出身だな。
そんなことはいい。それよりなぜ魔物を放っていた？
事故だよ、事故。迷宮の形が変わって閉じ込めてた部屋が外に繋がったんだ。
Well, it sounds like you shouldn't be storing them in a room that could change. You mean you let this fiend into the labyrinth and kept it here?
ここは隠しとくのにちょうどいいからな。それに今、治安維持隊は他の事件にかかりきりで小さい事件にまで目が届かない。クルトラ周辺の魔物は妙に質が良くて高く売れるし、いいことずくめって話さ。
Really good quality, huh? The fiend dealer shrugged with an "oh well," before turning away from us with a
商品を潰されて文句も言いたいが、逃がしたのはこっちの落ち度だ。
Oh good, he's not going to continue being mad at us when it's his fault. Good.
ここはチャラってことにしとこうぜ。治安維持隊に報告されても面倒だしな。
Something tells me that we should report it to the security forces anyway.
はあ？こっちは妹ともども死にそうな目に遭ってんだぞ。
生きてるだけで儲けもんだと思え。じゃあな。
I'm exhausted. The siblings were fuming, so I calmed them down before we parted ways outside the labyrinth. Now, back on the surface, Eon and I were discussing the earlier incident. I didn't know that there were merchants out there who sold fiends.
魔物は知能が低い。捕らえようと思えば可能ではある。触れるリスクさえ回避できればの話だが。
I can't believe people would catch such harmful creatures and make people fight them for entertainment. I mean, I can believe that part, but like, would people from Ferris even come this far to buy them, you know? Because Ferris is on literally the other side of the country. Humans might actually be scarier than fiends are. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm dreading going to Ferris. I muttered to myself, and Eon replied almost in a whisper.
そうだな。自分もだ。
Ooh. Yeah, right. It's like at least 2 weeks travel. Surely there are easier places to buy them from. Unless the merchants just like collect a whole bunch of them, stick them on their own carriage and transport them themselves. I don't know. Huh? But you grew up there, right?
故郷だからこそだ。
You got some bad memories there? Some people who don't like you, maybe?
自分はあの町のいいところも、そして悪いところもよく知っている。
The bad? What is he referring to, I wonder? I looked at him with that question in my eyes, but he didn't seem to plan on saying more.
それよりも今は目の前のことだ。この町での公演を成功させないと、その先も何もないだろう。
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some kind of seedy underbelly to the gladiator fights. That's probably it, right? Yeah, good point. Let's do our best to make it a blast, Eon.
努力しよう。
He walked on ahead of me and I followed close behind.
Tsumari, 今日のところは全員目立った成果なしってことね。
After everyone reported back to base, Junior announced the results. Zilch.
ところどころ店はやってるが、客はほぼいなかったな。寂しいもんだぜ。
I was just about to say, at least we talked to 2 people. 2 people who might want to attend. I mean, technically we talked to 3 people, but I very much doubt that the fiend dealer is gonna come.
精霊さんに聞いてみたけど、みんなやっぱりほとんど家から出ないみたい。
狂人事件を引き金に町全体の治安が悪化してきているのも問題だな。
ああ、治安維持隊の目が届かないせいで良くないものも集まってきているようだ。
これじゃあカリダみたいに通りとか広場とかで宣伝しても意味なさそうだな。一軒一軒ノックして宣伝してくしかねえのかな。
まあ、今はそれ以外思いつかねえわな。
Vilio suggesting that we just do door-to-door sales. That doesn't seem like it's gonna go well.
テントをいっぱいにできるまでそれを続けるのは大変そうだね。
Honestly, I don't really think people would come even if we did that. They might accept our flyers, but the people in charge here have told the citizens to stay at home. Yeah, which is where we have to talk to the people in charge, right? Can we use the king to do something? Mm-hmm. I mean, over here we need the labyrinth. I've forgotten the word. I wanted to say guardian, but that's not quite right. Let's consult with the dictionary. Elf, labyrinth, sentinel. Yes, we have a meeting with him. Wait, actually, Genia?
何かしら?
We get to meet Sentinel Balto tomorrow, right? Would it be possible to ask him to cooperate with our promotion during that meeting?
なるほど。統治者の指示ならば、住民も動いてくれるだろうな。
I know it might be asking too much for him to tell everyone to come out since it's risky. But if we're able to hear his perspective, at least we might get a clue about how to proceed.
なるほど。うまくいくかはともかく、話してみる価値はありそうね。
I feel like Zafra has some kind of a connection to Sentinel Balto. Like there's some kind of a history there, I think.
それじゃあ一旦今日の話し合いは終わり？
だな。これ以上顔つき合わせてても情報がない以上いい案なんて出てこねえだろ
う。じゃあ早速飯の時間だな。このいい匂いずっと気になってたんだよな。
Eon headed to the kitchen right away and began carrying over the prepared dishes.
クルトラ産のハーブを使った料理をいろいろ作ってみた。
Ooh, local herbs.
クルトラは風の大精霊が起こした都市だから、良い香りが風に乗り、不浄なものを追い払うと信じられているらしい。だから、ハーブを使った香り豊かな料理を好んで食べるそうだ。
なるほど。だからこの町の住人、みんな変わった香りしてるんだな。他では嗅いだことないっつうか、なんかすげえ珍しい感じ。
Do they? I tilted my head in question, but Vilio went ahead and took a big bite out of his food.
いただきます。なんだこのピザ、カリカリもちもちでうまい。
Pizza. Pizza's good.
クルトラには住民たちが共同で使える石窯がいくつも存在していてな、その一つを借りて焼かせてもらったんだ。
Stone oven. An oven with a baking chamber made from stone. In Kultura, these are used for both cooking and handicrafts, and they are an essential part of the citizens' lives here. Ah, so we bake food in the same ovens that we bake pottery in. Don't know whether I like that idea or not.
こっちのハーブたっぷりのサラダもすごく美味しいね。
Yeah, how big are the stone ovens? That's a question, isn't it? I mean, clearly at least large enough for pizza. But that only gives us the lower bound of how large they could be.
匂いが苦手なハーブがあったら言ってくれ。
このギザギザの葉と茎っぽいのは苦手かな。あ、こっちの丸いのも。
私はこれとこれ。
You're worrying about how you managed to get it to the tent. We don't know how far away this tent area is from where the ovens are. But I'm guessing these pizzas are not hot anymore. Especially given they seem to have been prepared in advance.
承知した。今度から香りが抑えられる調理法を試してみよう。
That's nice. That's nice of Eon being like, okay, which of these do you not like? And I will try to avoid them later.
おいおい、いいよ。あんまりこいつらを甘やかすなよ。食育っつう言葉があってたな。
I watched them enjoy the food while I relished the exquisite taste of Culturian cuisine too. And that was when I noticed. Zafra lifted his plate mutely before he turned to leave the common area. Zafra, are you already done?
調べたいことがあるから、俺は自分のテントで食べる。
Is it possibly the lunatic riots?
お前には関係ない。
Of course I'd say that. Once again, he gave me the cold shoulder before walking off with brisk strides.
僕の気のせいかもしれないけど、ザフォラ、クルトラに来てからなんだかカリカリしてない？
I mean, Pasalia, Zafra's always kind of grumpy, but he has indeed been different since we arrived.
いつもは断るにしても、もっと余裕がある感じがするんだけど、なんていうか、切羽詰まってるっていうか。
Yeah. I was worried about Zafra. I knew that he likely wouldn't tell me even if I asked. Thus, I decided to stay out of it and continued eating my food.
迷宮森との面会は正午過ぎだから、みんな準備しておいてね。
In the middle of breakfast, Junior made his announcement, and the team gave their individual replies. However,
俺は行かない。
you're not going, huh? That's because you know the guy. I know you know the guy. Unlike everyone else, Zafra had a grim look on his face as he declared his absence.
行かないって、どうして？
ぞろぞろ全員で行く必要はない。人が増えたからって、有益な情報が増えるわけでもないだろう。
Excuses, Zafra. That might be true, but the people of Culture are shut-ins right now, so if we ask for the Sentinel's opinion, we can understand Culture better and...
迷宮森に聞くことなんて俺にはない。この町のことならすでに知ってる。
And yet you are not sharing your insights with the rest of the class, Zafra.
俺は調べたいことがある。だから迷宮森のところへはお前たちだけで行け。
And is that investigation about the lunatic riots? You can go ahead and do your own thing, but please at least tell us what you're doing. We need everyone's help if we want the show to be a success, so...
お前らと仲良し小良ししなくても、ショーは成功させられるだろう。
Zafra was a tough nut to crack as he refused to share his plans with us. He marched out of the common area without another word.
ま、ザフォラには考えがあるんでしょうし、今はそっとしておきましょう。
俺たちが超重要な情報を聞き取ってザホラに教えてやろうぜ。
Yeah. Then, after lunch, a person claiming to be a Sentinel advisor came to our camp before leading us to an estate. Ooh.
遠いところご足労をかけました。何分仕事が忙しく屋敷を離れられないもので。
Yes, we've been escorted. It's fine. We will not get lost. So this is Balto.
改めまして、私が迷宮森のバルトです。よろしくお願いいたします。
Dressed in a high-quality suit, the Sentinel oozed grace and dignity. The disciplined atmosphere was contagious, and I straightened my back.
サーカス団長のジーニアです。本日はお時間をいただきありがとうございます。
After greetings were done and over with, Genia got down to business.
我々は欧命を受け、 各地で公演を行っていますが、このクルトラでは事件が人々の心に影を落とし、日々の生活も閉ざされているようです。なので我々のショーで少しでも町の方々を元気づけようと思いまして、そこで多くの方に見ていただくために迷宮森の方から住民の方々へ呼びかけをしていただきたいのです。
つまり自粛している住民たちにショーを見に行くよう呼びかけろ。
Yeah, that's exactly what we want you to do, sir.
協力したいのは山々ですが、事件が解決しない今は難しいですね。人が集まる場所で事件が起きれば、それこそ大惨事につながりますから。
I guessed as much. Though I'd expected this response, feeling that spark of hope snuff out was depressing.
それにお言葉ですが、私は今のクルトラの生活を変える必要はないと考えています。
Fine as it is. What? No. What? I almost thought I'd misheard, but it turned out that he really had said that.
クルトラは事件こそ起きていますが、それさえ目をつむれば人々の生活は安定していますから。
I don't know if that is true, sir. Stable? Is that how you would describe the present state of the city? I'd fully intended on letting Genia take the reins while I stayed silent, but Balto's words were so astounding that I couldn't stop myself from responding.
ええ、貿易も黒字で、ここ数十年の中で一番の利益を得ている。
Dude, not everything is about profits. If that's all you're thinking about and not your people, then I'm not sure you should be in charge.
クルトラには多くの職人がいますが、今までは職人同士の意見交換の会議など極めて無駄な時間の使い方が多
I
かっ
don't like this guy.
強靭事件により交流がなくなったことで、職人は自分の仕事に集中し、多くの製品を生み出せるようになったのです。
He's saying that communication's a waste?
強靭事件は解決しなければなりません。しかし、もしも解決せずとも、クルトラの存続には影響がないということです。
That's... If I may, is that truly what the people of Kultura wish for? I don't think he cares about that. As that question left my lips, a frosty look settled in Balto's eyes. But it was brief. Perhaps it had been a trick of the light? He immediately gave me a benign smile.
生活を脅かす存在はいますが、人々は自由に豊かに生活できている。これを幸せと言わずして何というのです。
Excuse me, sir, I do not think that they are living with freedom. I think that is distinctly a thing that they are not living with right now. His tone made it sound like a question, but he had a pressure to him that seemed to forbid any objections on my part. I heard that this city was once so tightly knit that it even earned the moniker City of Harmony. But the people have lost that, and their current situation must be so painful, yet...
クルトラの住民の幸せは町の者にしかわかりません。クルトラで生まれ育った私こそが何よりも正しくクルトラの住民を導けると私は確信していますよ。
The happiness that Balto spoke of seemed like something completely foreign compared to the mundane happiness I knew of. But I can't deny that I don't know much about Kultura. I'm an outsider and I don't have the right to speak out against him.
バルト様、そろそろ。もうそんな時間か。それでは、この辺りで失礼させていただきます。
ええ。あなたのお考え、よくわかりました。ご助力いただけないのは残念ですが、お時間いただき、ありがとうございました。
いえ、こちらこそ。何もできずに申し訳ない。代わりと言ってはなんですが、皆さんにサシェをお配りしましょう。
Balto snapped his fingers and the advisor handed us all small bags. Oh, this scent is just like...
そのサシェはクルトラ住民の証です。中には代々の迷宮森が管理するミラクスという植物のドライハーブが入っています。
Miracus, a plant that only grows in Cultura. Its scent is beloved by wind spirits, and one can make a wish come true by offering the spirits its fragrance. To prevent misuse of the plant, only the labyrinth sentinels are privy to its cultivation method and location. Now you see, I was wondering if there was something about the sachets that was throwing people off and causing the riot things. And now we're being given them.
Mirax? 聞いたことない名前だね。
ミラクスはこのクルトラでしか育たない特別な花です。風の精霊に好まれる香りを放つことで知られています。悪用を防ぐため、栽培場所や栽培方法は代々の迷宮森しか知りません。
I mean, that doesn't... What are we classing as misuse?
そんな貴重なものを我々がもらって構わないのか？
公園に助力できないお詫びの印です。それに、このサシェがあれば、地下迷宮で迷った時も、風の精霊が導いてくれますよ。
あ、だからか。これザフラが持ってたやつと同じだ。ほら、地下迷宮でさ。
Okay, now I need to see his reaction to that name. Oh, now that you mention it.
街のあちこちで同じ匂いがしてたから、ずっと気になってたんだよ。
そういや、そんなこと言ってたな。てっきり鼻がバカになってるだけだと思ってたぜ。
ザフォラはクルトラ出身だから、サシェのことも知ってたんだね。
ザフォラ？
Yeah, There's a history there.
ええ、サーカス団員の一人です。用があって今日は来られなかったけど。
いえ、このクルトラではよくある名前ですから。
Oh, now he's just sort of going, yeah, it's a common name around here. It could be anyone. Definitely not someone that I definitely have a history with. No. Something about Balto's smile seemed off. But our audience with him ended before I had time to probe into it. On our way back, Junior muttered to himself, sounding vexed. We knew this might happen, but it looks like we've reached a dead end.
やっぱ一件ずつチラシを配っていくしかねえんじゃねえか？
そうかもね。大変だと思うけど、今回はそうするしかないのかも。
If the riots were solved, promotion would be easier, but...
けど、すぐ解決する事件じゃなさそうだ。地道にやっていくしかねえって。
As we talked about our plans...
何か声が聞こえないか？人が争っているような。
At Ion's assessment, we rushed over to the source of the commotion, and there we found... Zaphira. Yep. Zaphira? A man had grabbed Zafra by the collar and was roaring at him.
どの面下げて戻ってきた。
おい、何してんだ。ザフラを離せ。
Filio ran in and wedged himself between the two, shielding Zafra.
なんだあんたら。
私たちは王城から派遣されたパフォーマンス集団サーカスよ。
Zafra is one of our members. Please stop treating him this way.
サーカス？よくわからんが、こいつを仲間にするのはやめておいた方がいいぜ。
Please explain to us why we should kick Zafra out. What did he do? Please, backstory, please. Yeah. Tifalia almost said the same thing, but more politely. Please elaborate.
こいつはクルトラを捨てて逃げた卑怯な裏切り者だ。お前らのとこだっていつ逃げ出すか分かったもんじゃない。
Are they just mad at him for leaving?
おいおい、ザホラがクルトラを捨てたって大げさだな。故郷を出たってだけの話だろ。
Yeah, what Raddy said. What's wrong with leaving your hometown?
大げさ？はあ、あんたらよそ者はこいつが何をやったのか知らないんだな。いいぜ、教えてやる。
Yeah.
こいつは迷宮森の正統後継者だったんだ。
It's that. The Sentinels related to him. I wasn't sure if it was going to be family stuff or not. Huh?
正統後継者だったってどういうことだよ。
こいつは3年前に後継者としての立場を放棄してクルトラから逃げ出したんだ。
So Zafra is Balto your dad, your granddad, or your uncle, or older brother doesn't seem quite right. He seems a bit too old for that.
そのショックで先代の迷宮森だった父親と母親は自殺して。
Okay. So uncle then.
今はこいつの叔父バルト様が迷宮森を務めていらっしゃる。
Balto, the man who controls Cultura as its current labyrinth sentinel, Zafra's uncle. This is also so it says Balto 1, which means that we're going to learn something new about him later. My mind couldn't keep up with this rapid fire of mind-blowing information. Zafra was the Sentinel's heir? 3 years ago he threw away that title and now his uncle is the current Sentinel? Okay. Yep. That uncle is doing something that is causing these lunatic riots. Because if it's only started 3 years ago, and 3 years ago is precisely when this happened, then that means that Balto is very suspicious. Zafra was the Sentinel's heir. 3 years ago he threw away that title and now his uncle is the current Sentinel.
いいかザフォラ、すぐにこの町から立ち去れ。お前は一度この町を捨ててるんだ。のこのこと戻ってくるな。
Is this gonna be like a like a Lion King sort of situation? Is Zafra Simba and is Balto Scar? Spitting out those last words, the man left. We were left standing there, awkwardness hanging thick in the air. Was that possibly why Zafra has been going around alone in Kultura? Because if the people here saw him, they realize who he was?
なあザフラ、今の話は本当か？あんたが迷宮森の。
俺の過去なんて関係ないだろ。
I wonder if the wish that Zafra is going to want to get granted after we're successful has something to do with this as well.
O 前たちはパフォーマンスの準備だけしておけばいい。
He didn't allow any room for negotiation and turned to leave. Wait! I grabbed Zafra's hand and forced him to stay. We can't leave you alone after seeing what just happened.
お前らにはどうせ何もできない。首だけ突っ込まれても迷惑だ。
We're not poking our noses into it for self-satisfaction. We're poking our noses into it to help you. But I'm worried about you, Zafra, and I...
心配するなら勝手にすればいい。俺も勝手にやらせてもらう。
Hearing those words, I felt my eyebrows twitch in irritation. Zafra, you're always like this. You won't tell us anything about you. In Calada, we all worked together to make our show successful, but look at you now.
あの時はたまたまだ。偶然、成功に傾いただけだ。
Oh, okay, okay. You're gonna downplay all the work we did as luck. Alright, asshole. Fine, I won't hound you then. There's no getting anywhere with you.
ようやくわかったか。なら。
I'll go ask the Sentinel instead.
は?
Since you won't tell us, we can just ask Balto.
奴に関わるな!
If you don't want me talking to him, then talk to me! Suddenly an indignant yell erupted from him. The anger in his eyes was vivid and scalding. I jumped, startled.
絶対に関わるな。ろくなことにならないからな。
Once again, elaborate, please. There's not a lot of point just saying, stay away from that person, without giving the reasoning. Why? I only want to understand what's going on.
はいはいはい、そこまで。ザフォラも矛を収めて。
なあザフォラ、お前にもなんか事情があるんだろうけどな。けど仮にも女の子を頭ごなしに怒鳴りつけるのはねえだろう。
With a displeased click of his tongue, Zafra marched off quickly. I could only stare at him in a daze as he retreated. As the morning sun gently kissed the tents, I heard the song of birds. On any other day, I'd have been long awake. But for some reason, I was dragging my feet getting out of bed. Why did Zafra get so upset?
ティファリア、まだ寝てるのか?
Reddy climbed his way up to my bed and pressed his soft paw pads against my cheek. Aww.
寝坊なんて珍しいじゃねえか。どうせザホラのことだろ。昨日軽くやり合ったもんな。
Yeah, I'm just wondering why Zafra got so mad. Did something happen between him and Balto? Clearly, Tafalia.
ザホラもザホラで不器用だからな。多分全部は語る気はねえだろう。 でもよ、何から何まで暴かなくても、お前ができることはたくさんある。
Reddy's eyes seemed to unfocus, looking at something distant. Then he whispered,
過去を知ることで見えるものもあるし、知りたがりは悪いことじゃねえ。けどそれは本当に心配なのか？ただの興味になってないか？
When he puts it like that, I'm not sure. I thought I was just worried about him. But there's a reason why he isn't telling us. Why was I pressing him so hard about revealing it? What did I even want to do? Thanks, Reddy. I think I've calmed down a little.
気にすんなって。じゃ、朝飯食いに行こうぜ。
Time wouldn't stop and wait for me to mope. I had many things I needed to tackle in order to prepare for the impending show. Now that I'd pulled myself together, I went to the common area. Zephyro wasn't there. Yeah, because of course he isn't.
ザフォラならいつもより早い時間に朝食を終えて外出したようだ。
I see. I wanted to talk to him about what happened yesterday, but he's not here. Oh well. For breakfast, I had herb bread that was baked in a stone oven, smeared with plenty of fruit jam. After that, we wasted no time and immediately began handing out the flyers.
あんたらのことは分かったけど、そのショーを見に行くのは難しいさね。狂人事件がいつ起こるかわからない以上、怖くて怖くて。おいそれと外なんか歩けやしないよ。それにバルト様も不要不急の外出を禁止してるからね。
私の夫も今は刑務所にいるんです。こんな状況で外に出られるわけがない。あの人が狂人化したのはきっと罰が当たったんだわ。
Yeah, I somehow doubt divine punishment was the issue here.
彼は友人たちと自由に語り合えない現状を憂いていて、今のクルトラを良しとするバルト様への不満をよく口にしていたの。
Yes, see, Balto? The people want to talk to one another.
迷宮森は大精霊リベラ様の御使い。そんな方を批判したら罰が当たって当然なんだわ。
サーカス見てみたいけどバルト様が怒りそうだからな。意見したらどうかって？無理無理。バルト様は俺らの意見なんて聞き入れないよ。
Ooh. Is Balto using the wind spirits to like spy on everyone and then somehow causing the lunatic riot things to take out anyone who disagrees with him? By like, because apparently it would appear they end up in jail. So,
それに反論すればこのクルトラでは暮らしていけなくなるからね。
After handing out the flyers, I returned to the common area and let out a long, long sigh.
おかえりみんな。どうだった？
全然ダメそうだね。
だな。どいつもこいつもバルト様がって口を揃えて言いやがって。
感覚としては先日より悪化しているようだった。
あのおっさんが町の人に何か言ったのか？
Yeah, has he done the opposite of what we asked him to do?
この感じ、そうとしか思えねえな。
しかし一つ分かったのは、全員が迷宮森の言葉に不満も持たず従っているわけではないということだ。
Well, I guess there's only one way of getting our show to work properly. We gotta overthrow the government.
そうだね。むしろ不満があっても口に出せないって感じだったよ。
Balto said that all the citizens of Cultura were happy with this, but I couldn't agree less with that. Everyone we talked to had seemed to imply that they couldn't come to watch because someone told them they couldn't. They didn't have the freedom to say what they wanted, nor go where they wanted. How could they ever wish for that? How could anyone call that happiness?
だが困ったな。このままでは人が集まらないのは変わりない。
やっぱり事件の方をどうにかしないと無理なんじゃないかな。
正直それしかねえ気はしてる。でもよ、国も手を焼いてる事件だぜ。俺らでどうにかできるもんなのか？
そうね。解決までいかずとも強靭化する原因の特定くらいできればもう少し国も動けると思うんだけど、そこもさっぱりみたいだから。
やっぱりザフォラに協力してもらうしかねえよ。昨日の話が本当ならザフォラはこの都市のことを誰より知ってるはずだ。今も一人で動いてるのは強靭事件を調べてるからなんだろ。
As he said that, Vilio met my eyes. Yeah, I think so. He didn't tell us a thing, but I think Zafra probably has a lead.
ならもう一回ザフォラと話してみようぜ。ティファリアもちゃんとモヤモヤしてる気持ちをはっきりさせときたいだろ。
Vilio. Vilio grinned broadly enough to flash his teeth, but I could tell he was worried. I did think we needed to talk, but that's clearly not enough. I was the one who said we were all in this together. I'll go talk with Zafra one more time. Everyone, I'm so sorry I worried you all. Rather than going as a group, it was easier to keep my cool one-on-one. Saying that, I headed towards Zafra's tent alone, while feeling everyone's encouraging gazes on me. Let's go pester Zafra. Excuse me. I announced my presence had entered the tent. His glare pierced me as menacing as a hawk's.
何の用だ？ひょっとして昨日の続きか？怒鳴ったことを謝罪する気はない。あの時は。
No, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not looking for an apology.
ならなんだ？俺から事情を聞き出す気か？
That's not it either. I don't want to press you for answers. I was too forceful. I'm here because I want you to hear me out. There's something I want to confirm. I didn't give Zafra a chance to reply. Hurriedly, I began my appeal. He said that you abandoned Kultura. But I'm sure that that's a misunderstanding. You still treasure Kultura a lot even now, am I wrong?
おめでたい頭だな。どうしてそんな印象を抱ける？
Because you're working really hard to try and fix this.
お前にかかれば、俺でも成人になれるのか？
I have justification. Zafra, though you left Kultura, you still carried your sachet around like a prized possession. That means you had plans of returning here one day and you wanted to keep it.
便利だから捨てなかっただけだ。
Even when that citizen was roaring at you, you didn't make excuses or bite back. You just let him blow up on you.
バカな相手はしたくないだけだ。
In addition, when we first arrived, you chased that pickpocket. You're investigating the riots because you want to find a solution, right? Even someone like me doesn't think that the people here are happy right now. Which means that as someone who once lived here, you must feel it even more. At least, that's what I think. I made confident declarations one after the other, but he spat no cutting remarks in return, unlike our usual dialogues. There was only silence, which felt like a deafening yes when it came from Zafira. The person yesterday said you abandoned your duties as the future sentinel. But I'm certain that's a misunderstanding. If you wanted to run away, you didn't have to come back after all. We said nothing for a long while. Eventually, Zafira was the one who spoke.
昨日のあいつが話したことは事実と誤解が混じってる。
So it's just like I suspected.
少しだけ詳しい事情を説明してやってもいい。もっとも俺が真実を語ってるって保証はないけどな。
Yeah, obviously. You're just gonna tell me your side of it. There was a tone of self-mockery in his words, and he seemed to be testing my reaction. My answer was important. No matter what, I couldn't afford to mess up here. I said, "Ooh, I trust you," or is it a lie then? Good question. Let's just quick save. I trust you. I don't know if he's just going to call me naive for saying that. But I think it's still my answer. I trust you. Of course I'll trust you. Ooh, it's a different colour. Yeah, we definitely got a thing, but it was yellow. Because Eon's was green. And now I know whose bed is whose in this tent. Zafira's is obviously over on the right there. By the yellow thing. I haven't been with you for too long, but I know you. I've watched you. You've always carried out tasks entrusted to you and saw them through responsibly. And you're always direct and upfront about what you can't do and what you don't want to do. Though your word choice can be a little, well, very scathing sometimes, but you're someone who takes responsibility for their words and their actions. That's why you'd never abandon an important duty halfway through.
お人よしだな。いつか人に騙さ
I
れる。
told you that was what he was gonna say. He didn't use the word naive, but it was close enough. But I want to trust the you that I've seen and the you that I've grown to know. These were my pure, unadulterated feelings, and I wanted him to know, to believe them. I stared straight into his eyes. The one who looked away first was Zafira. Yeah, won that staring contest. I will trust you, but you don't have to trust me in return. I'm not going to force you. If you don't want to work together, you can just use us for your own gains. So please, don't shoulder the burden all by yourself.
俺の言葉をここまで信じようとするバカは初めてだな。なんでそこまで信じられる？俺には理解ができない。
He was tense with wariness, almost like a bristling stray cat. I know you might accuse me of playing some game of friendship again if I say this, but it's because we're teammates. I think that's the biggest reason I can give you. Silence once again. I've said everything I wanted to say, and I got the answer to my question. He even said that he was willing to explain everything that's been going on with him. I suggested it might be better for Zephyr to tell the whole group at once rather than having to repeat himself. Okay, I'll go ahead and get everyone together then. Thus, I returned to where the team was already waiting for us. Oh, Zephyr POV. After she left the tent, I gazed at the ceiling and imagined the stars as I sunk into my thoughts in solitude.
また裏切られるのが怖いから、誰のことも信じたくない。絶望したくないから、信じてほしいと期待するのも怖い。
I see. He's scared of getting close to people and regretting it again, huh?
だけど、あいつの言う通り、自分一人の力には限界があることも分かってる。
And I knew that I was being stubborn for a petty reason.
あいつに言われなくても。
I had been aware the whole time. And back to the heroine's point of view. Some time passed after I returned to the common area. Eventually, Zephyr appeared, looking as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders.
お、ザフォラ、やっと来たな。
ザフォラの分のご飯、ちゃんと残してあるからね。
Everyone welcomed him warmly, but Zephyr just let their words go in one ear and out the other. He sighed.
自分のためにお前たちを利用しろ。悪いがそんなことを言われても、俺は提案を飲む気はない。
So I didn't get through to him?
それはどうしてかしら？
利用ってのは、ギブアンドテイクだろ。だが今、俺の方から差し出せる対価はほとんどない。だから。
Zephyr fixed his eyes on us before he slowly lowered his head.
利用はしない。ただ、事情を説明するから、このクルトラを正すために、一時的にお前たちの力を貸してくれ。
Seeing Zephyr act this way, we were all taken aback for a moment. However,
大歓迎だ。ザフォラがやるって言うなら、俺はいくらでも力を貸すぜ。
we all grinned immediately and gave him firm, encouraging nods.
住民が不自由を強いられている現状は自分も看過できない。できることがあるなら協力は惜しまない。
Yeah, right, he's giving us the information we want. This is perfectly reasonable item in trade.
僕ももちろん力を貸すよ。
あのザフォラがここまで行ってんだもんな。俺も協力するぜ。
ここで私だけ拒否するのはエレガントじゃないものね。
Hello, Hunter. I'm doing fine, how are you? It was almost as if everyone had been waiting for Zephyr to open up to us. Of course, I'll do anything. We all happily agreed in unison. Dinner had grown a bit cold while everyone talked, but after we ate, Zephyr took the opportunity to speak up.
俺が迷宮森という役目を捨ててクルトラを出たって話は半分事実で 半分嘘だ。
Yep, tell us what your uncle did.
そこまで語る気になったのね。随分な心境変化じゃない。
Ah, you found the demo for Isomnium Files on the PS4. Nice, nice.
Ah, あれ、その言い方、もしかしてジーニアは知ってたの？
まあね。ザフォラの事情を知った上で参加を許可したのは私だから。
Yeah, of course Genia knew something about it. Genia!
本人が隠したいことをわざわざ暴くのはエレガントじゃないで
That's
しょ。
actually fair, yes, obviously. You don't tell secrets that aren't yours.
どうやらもう秘密にする必要はなくなったみたいだけど。
ここには俺を信じるっていうバカがいるからな。
たく素直じゃねえな。口の悪さは相変わらずかよ。
きっとそういうお年頃なんだよ。
うるさいぞ外野。
Seeing that they returned to their usual banter, I silently let out a sigh of relief. Zafra then cleared his throat and began the tale of his history.
かつてのクルトラでは迷宮森の統治と住民同士の強い結束がクルトラの気風を守り支えていた。
Happy birthday in advance, Hunter. And I hope everything goes well.
だが3年前のあの日を境にすべ
Outside the window, there were children around my age. Nope. Outside the window, there were children around my age frolicking merrily.
勉強に集中せず何をしているのかと思えば外で遊ぶ子供を見ていたのか。まさかあの輪に混じりたいなどと思っていないだろうな。娯楽などお前には必要ない。迷宮森になることだけ考えていろ。
Dude, let your kid be a kid sometimes.
はい。
My father was a stern sentinel whom all the citizens had unwavering faith in. He was a man who honored the history and traditions of Kultura, and in following those traditions I had a strict upbringing.
父上は僕に立派な迷宮森になってほしいんだ。
A part of me was sad, for I had to live a life that was different from others my age, but I saw it as my father's love for me as a sentinel. I was able to overcome it. When I turned 20, I would succeed my father in his role. And that was my dream as a child and my sole reason for existing. But 3 years ago, when... Yep. Darn it, internet. Okay. Oh, is it back? It looks like it's back. Yep, I think it's back now, right? Please confirm. Thank you. 3 years ago and it's... That's fine, you haven't missed a single line because this was the next line. His uncle told him that his father said to go traveling.
ええ、次期迷宮森として見聞を広めてこいとのことで、旅支度もこちらで整えるよう申し使っております。
As he said that, Balto handed over my luggage with reverence. Balto was my father's younger brother, my uncle. Back then, he attended to government affairs as the Sentinel's advisor. Basically, he was the second most influential person in Cultura. Until that day, I'd been forbidden from leaving the city limits, which is why I doubted Balto's words at first, despite his position. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was lying, so it's reasonable to doubt. However, I figured that Balto wouldn't have any motive for deceiving me. Well, pretty sure he does. And if he did, my calculating side said that even if it were a ruse, it would be Balto's problem. As the victim, I probably wouldn't lose anything. More than anything, my curiosity about the big wide world drove me to accept his words.
わかった。行ってくる。
And just like that, I went to travel for 7 days at Balto's instruction. And when he came back, everything was changed. Then, when I returned...
戻りました。父上、母上。人の気配がしない。
When I returned, I was greeted with dead silence in the estate. Other than Balto, who stood there with a triumphant smile on his face.
おや、ザフォラ様。お帰りになったのですね。もっと旅行していてもよかったのに。
バルト、父上を知らないか。いろいろと話したいことが。
話したい。それは不可能です。
So while he was gone for a week, his uncle had his parents killed, I guess. Wonderful.
お父様はすでにお亡くなりになりましたから。
は？笑えない冗談は。それは父上の。いや、迷宮森の証。どうしてだ？どうしてお前がそれを持っている？
言ったはずだよ。全迷宮森様は亡くなったと。
You know, I was half joking about Scar, but it hits all the beats.
君の名を呼びながら息絶えたよ。だから今は私、このバルトこそがクルトラの迷宮森なのだよ。
嘘だ。
そもそも迷宮森が世襲制などくだらないしきたりだと思わないか？これだけ優秀な次男がいるというのに、ただ生まれた順番が違うだけで。
Really, dude?
無能な兄が人々の尊敬を集める迷宮森。弟の私は常に日陰の身だ。妙な話だろう。
だから父を、実の兄を殺したのか。そんなの嘘だ。ラビリントネックレスがある限り迷宮森を害することなんて。
ああ、確かに兄自身を傷つけるのは非常に難しかった。
So the labyrinth necklace also protects its wearer as well. That's interesting.
だがね、息子の命を握っていると告げたら、君の両親は喜んで命を差し出してくれたよ。そう。つまり、すべては君のせいだ。
ザフォラがいないときに全てをバルトに奪われたのか。
Balto too. Balto deceived Zafra and killed his parents. He stole the labyrinth necklace and became the new sentinel. That's so horrible. I can't. His past was so wretched that I didn't even know what to say.
ああ。その後俺は、バルトの行いを住民に訴えたが、すでに根回しをしていたんだろうな。住民はバルトの作り話を信じていて、俺のことは信じてくれなかった。もちろん、最初はバルトの作り話を必死に否定したが、次第に何も言えなくなって。クルトラにはいられなくなった俺は、その後、情報屋をやりながら、バルトから町を取り返す方法を探した。俺が出て行った後の町の様子は聞いて知っていたが、実際に戻ってきたのは3年ぶりだ。
When Zafra finished talking about his past,
あいつ、許せね
え。Vilio whispered and his rage was clear. Vilio, you're not allowed to go and eat him. I know you're a dragon, but you are not allowed to fry him and eat him. Or even just fry him. Or burn the mansion down. Yeah, that's also not allowed.
そういう事情だったら、今すぐぶちのめしてやろう
Or
ぜ。
beat him to a pulp. Vilio, we have to beat him at his own game.
バカか。力任せに解決できるなら、こんなに手を焼くはずないだろう。バルトは正式に迷宮森を継いだから、迷宮森の証、ラビリントネックレスを所持しているんだ。
Labyrinth necklace, the core item of Cultura, the labyrinth city that was left behind by Libera, the great spirit of wind. Imbued with strong wind magic, this necklace controls the underground labyrinth. It is managed by Cultura's hereditary ruler, the Labyrinth Sentinel.
そのせいで、仮にドラゴンの力があったところで、そう簡単に捕まえることはできない。
ラビリントネックレスって、さっきザファロの話に出てきたネックレスのこと？簡単に捕まえられないっていうのは？
風の大精霊リベラがクルトラに残したコアアイテム。それがラビリントネックレスだ。
Core items, a set of powerful mystical tools. There's one in each of the major five. They are national treasures left behind by King Arthur and the great spirits who founded the cities. Is it possible to make another necklace? I think you would probably have to get in contact with the great spirit to do that, by the looks of it.
ラビリントネックレスには強い風の魔力が備わっていて、地下迷宮と風魔法を自在に操れる。だから物理的な力だけじゃ捕まえられない。地下迷宮に逃げられればそれで終わりだ。
ならばネックレスを奪ってしまえばいいのでは？不意を打って。
いや、あれは正式な迷宮森とリンクしている魔法具なんだ。物理的に取り上げても無意味だ。そのリンクを断ち切る必要がある。
それじゃあお手上げの状態じゃねえか。
バルトに関しては今はまだな。
Yes, but you see, if we prove that he's doing something that's causing the lunatic riots, we can swing public opinion to our side and therefore win, maybe?
どういうことだ？
前にサーカスが成功したら手に入れたいものがあるって言ったの覚えてるか？
Yeah, I assume that is to replace your uncle. Zafra.
俺の願いはラビリントネックレスを迷宮森から引き剥がす魔法具イレーズを国から借りることだ。
Erase 1. A mystic tool with the sole purpose of confiscating the labyrinth necklace from the Sentinel. currently managed by the castle. Oh. Okay.
そんなピンポイントな魔法具があるの？
ああ。よこしまな人間が迷宮森になった時のために資格を剥奪できるよう用意されているものだ。
Well, it sounds like this is the perfect occasion to use that. Why has it not been used?
ならそれ今すぐ借りようぜ。ジーニア頼む。
But then again, I suppose the whole reason is that it's Zephyros' word against his uncle's with no proof.
無理よ。バルトは王城で正式な手順を踏んで迷宮森と認められているの。ザフラには同情するけど、証拠もないのに犯罪者と決めつけて迷宮森をやめさせるのは不可能。
We need proof of wrongdoing.
そうなのか。
だから今できることは狂人事件の犯人がバルトだと特定できる証拠を得ること、それからショーを成功させてイレーズを手に入れること、この2つだ。
まるで事件の犯人はバルトだって知ってるみたいな言い方だね。
Well, I mean, it makes sense, Phasalia. The riots started after he took over.
まあ3年前迷宮森になってその頃から事件が発生してるんだ。状況的にはバルトのせいだろうって思うのは普通の流れだな。
バルトはこの状態がクルトラの民にとって幸せだと言っていたしな。
だけどザフラのことだからそんな感覚的なことじゃないのよね。
ああ。ただ証拠がないからまだ俺の憶測の域を出ない。だから今は証拠が欲しい。すぐに事件を解決できるだけの現物は揃わないだろうが、俺たちだけでも犯人がバルトだと確信できるだけの情報が欲しい。そのために手を貸してくれ。
Of course we will, Zephyr.
もちろんだ。で、俺たちは何をすればいい？
事件の証拠を探すこととサーカスの宣伝をすること。いいよ。それからお前。
Me?
お前たちは俺と一緒に来い。事件の証拠を取りに行く。
承知した。
Okay, got it.
残りは宣伝に回ってほしいが、今までみたいに家を回る方法じゃ正直効率が悪すぎる。明日迷宮森による講和会が開かれるから、それを利用すべきだ。
Forum, huh? Sentinels Forum. An event in which the Sentinel and the citizens can interact and exchange ideas. Unique to Cultura, a city renowned for its strong and harmonious social relations. Citizens are required to participate unless there's an emergency. I mean, there is a bit of an emergency.
講和会？
迷宮森講和。この町の伝統で定期的に迷宮森が住民との交流を図る場だ。
でもみんなお家に引きこもってるから出てこないんじゃないの？
いや、この講和だけは参加が義務付けられているからな。確実に人が集まる。
So the guy refuses for us to be able to create a gathering, but his virtual gathering is fine.
ショーの観覧は無理とか言っといて、むちゃくちゃだな、あのおっさん。
Yeah, what Reddy said.
この町の住民の気質は調和だ。周りがやらないなら自分もやらない。周りがやるなら自分もやる。今はバルトが行くなと言っているから誰も動くことができないが、公の場を利用できれば覆すことも可能なはずだ。
わかった。宣伝は任せてくれ。
うん、頑張るよ。
よし、一丁やってやるか。
Ah, yes, we're sending our most interesting members on promotional duty. 2 Fae Beasts and a Spirit Contractor. That's probably a good idea.
頼む。
Going to run in and do a show. I guess the word is the word you're looking for a flash mob. It's a little bit like that, maybe. Although I guess that implies more people. Therefore bowed once again. We didn't waste any time and immediately began preparing for the start of our operation the next day. Which should give us a scene break, which I'm going to use to end the stream. Oh, just take over what's currently happening there. Yeah, that works too. Right, anyway, we have our scene break, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. It's been fun and interesting. We learned a backstory today. If you're new here and you've enjoyed your time, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can also follow me on social media, which is linked below. The streaming schedule is posted both over there on social media and over here on YouTube in the community tab. And the next scheduled stream is Sunday, 2 PM, for more either Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. So, hope to see you then, or another time. Once again, thanks for coming, and this is Kalla signing out. See ya, bye bye.